bit as well. And there's certainly a lot more to talk about and a lot more to get to. So welcome to the show, everybody. And the music you hear in the background is my co-host, who I was just going to introduce. I think he was playing Frank Sinatra or something on his cell phone. That would be Leonard Cardinale, the longtime North Las Vegas former lieutenant, joining us in studio as my co-host today. Leonard, what's up, man?
How's it going, Brian? Happy Thanksgiving. I know I won't see you guys tomorrow.
I'm ready to get fat. I'm ready to be piggy.
I think people are hungry for the news, though. There is so much going on.
I agree.
There really is.
There is a lot going on. You know, before we get to the clips of the day, you know, you had called into the show yesterday because some Nimrod named Eddie, who called me a homophobic slur on the air. I've been called worse, by the way. I just want to get to this real quickly before we talk about the news of the day.
Okay.
So the word homicide, there were 2 autopsies conducted on George Floyd. The reason why we're talking about George Floyd and Derek Chauvin is because the Ben Shapiros, even Jack Posobiec, and a lot of the right-wing turds think that Derek Chauvin should be pardoned. Now, he's a convicted murderer. There's no argument there.
He was convicted on 3 different counts, just so you know.
Correct. Homicide cannot be concluded if somebody dies of a self-inflicted drug overdose, correct?
No, that would be suicide or accidental overdose.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
how it would be classified.
Correct. And I'm not a former cop like you. I don't have the experience you have in this, but I don't think you have to be an extremely intelligent person to understand that
it's
not
common sense.
Right, of course. It's not homicide unless somebody force-fed you the drugs. Like if somebody tied you down and say, hey, you're taking these drugs. Okay, that would be murder. That would be homicide. What happened to George Floyd was murder. Why is it that all these, and this gets me angry.
He was convicted of murder.
Of course he was, but
Right.
they're asking Trump to pardon Derek Chauvin. And by the way, I wouldn't put it past Donald Trump to do this. How can you be, is it these people are just ignorant? Are they racist? Is it white cop versus black citizen? Because I in my opinion, Leonard, if George Floyd was white and Derek Chauvin was black, the Jack Posobics of the world and the Ben Shapiros would be asking Derek Chauvin to get the electric chair.
What about the citizen, the female that got it on video? What would have happened if that wasn't on video?
I'll tell you what would have happened.
It was only cop cams or body cams. What do you think would have happened?
I'll tell you what would have happened. They falsify a police report. Derek Chauvin would still be a police officer today, and George Floyd would still be dead.
Yeah, so Jack Prozac was up on stage.
Did you say Jack Prozac? I like that. Is that a nickname, or did you do that on
No,
purpose?
Jack. No, yeah, it's my
like
name
that.
for him. I call him Jack Prozac.
I like that. That's funny.
Because this is the reason why. Because anybody who spews the amount of lies and bullshit that he spews every single day has got to be on Prozac or something at night, because I'm sure he doesn't sleep. And he's at a rally and he's getting people wound up and saying, we won't stop till we get Derek Chauvin out, and we won't stop until justice is done. And what I think what he's doing is, it was a kind of a, for clicks and money. And he was trying to see how the crowd reacted for Trump. Because Trump is thinking in the back of his mind, hey, maybe I could, pardon another murderer. But doesn't Jack Prozac say he's a Christian? I thought he did, because the Bible, pardoning a murderer is one of the worst things you can do.
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I don't think Jack Posobiec or Jack Prozac has problems sleeping. And I think this is all intentional. He does it to make money. It's why he started the whole Pizzagate scandal. These people have no low. It gets lower and lower. He knows that Derek Chauvin is a murderer. Ben Shapiro knows that Derek Chauvin is a murderer. We all saw the video. And let me also be clear, and you made this point on the show yesterday. In no police precinct is the proper training to put your knee on somebody's neck at all, let alone for 8 minutes, when somebody is handcuffed, they're not resisting, and they're on their stomach. There is no police precinct that says that is the proper training.
He was saying, I can't breathe. He was calling for his mom.
Right.
When someone's on the ground and they're saying, I can't breathe, that might
he
be
wasn't
a signal
resisting.
to get your knee off the neck.
And he wasn't resisting.
Well, the thing is, if you look at Chauvin, he's got, doesn't he have his hands in his pockets or on his hips while he's kneeling? And he just kind of chill.
Very
He's talking to the
nonchalant,
other officers. And here's the thing. One of the reasons he got convicted is because even if you call it negligence at some level or heated murder at some level, you have to understand that any human being would know that if you kneel on someone's neck, right? This is common sense. If you kneel on someone's neck for 8 to 9 minutes, there's a good chance they're going to die or
Sure.
pass away.
And sadly, that's what happened.
And it like well,
Yeah.
let me 2 counts of they both considered 2 autopsies. They both said homicide, the killing of one human being by another, and it was but you can't have a coroner's inquest come up with homicide unless you have direct evidence, physical evidence,
Correct.
witness testimony.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I do, I do.
They didn't just he didn't just come up and go, well, I don't know what it is, so I'll call it a homicide.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not how it works.
No, I completely agree. I just wanted to get that out of the way for all the idiots out there, the MAGAs that call into this
Can I
show.
call him Jack Prozac? or-
Yeah, no, I like that nickname. For the idiots out there that can't define what a homicide is for you buffoons. All right, so Donald Trump was speaking on Air Force One yesterday. And today, I just want to be clear, while many people are struggling to put food on the table for Thanksgiving, and this Ukraine-Russia deal is never going to work, what is Donald Trump doing today, as he's done 84 times this year? He's playing golf at one of his golf courses on taxpayer dollar. So a reporter asked him yesterday about the possibility that they plan to extend subsidies so those can continue to afford their health care. Keep in mind, if these subsidies are not extended, millions of Americans are not going to be able to afford the health care that they need. Listen to Donald Trump days before Thanksgiving talk about how he's probably not going to do that.
I mean, I like my plan the best. Don't give any money to the insurance companies. Give it to the people directly. Let them go out and buy their own health care plan. And we're looking at that. If that can work, we're looking at that. That's sort of take it off. That's what I like. Don't give the money to the insurance companies. They go out and buy their own plan. You give the money to the people. I like it the best.
Are you planning to extend those subsidies?
I'd rather not. Somebody said I want to extend them for 2 years. I don't want to extend them for 2 years. I'd rather not extend them at all. And maybe some kind of an extension may be necessary to get something else done. Because the Unaffordable Care Act has been a disaster. It's a disaster. And I said it was when it first got put in. Unfortunately, we lost a couple of Republican votes, and the Democrats voted for it. It's a Democrat plan. And the premiums are going up, and it's the Democrats' fault. But, you know, they are negotiating with me. It's very interesting. They want to see something happen.
Who are you talking to on the
I can't
Democrat
tell you
side?
who, but we have a lot of Democrats want this plan to happen. They would love to see the money go to the people, and the people go out and get their own health care. And there would be nothing like it.
Right. There you go again, complaining about Obama and complaining about his health care that he put in place, which is, you know, for lack of a better term, called Obamacare, but there is still no replacement plan. And right before Thanksgiving, Leonard, health care for 20 million Americans doesn't seem to be a top priority for the President of the United States while he's on his way to his resort playing golf.
He wants to send people a $2,000 check. And I'll just send them, you know, you have to send $2,000 a month to every single person. That's what it would come down to. And keep in mind, prior to Obamacare, 22 million people could not afford. This was really directed at the lower income people. This was directed at minorities in bad neighborhoods who couldn't afford it. This was a subsidy from the government to make sure that everyone had medical coverage. And the reason they did it was because the hospitals and the medical field was taking a beating because people with no insurance, they still break their arm. They still break their legs. They still have heart attacks. They still have to go to the emergency room. They have to use medical resources. And that it was almost like car insurance where you wanted to force everybody to pay so everyone would have coverage. And now they don't want to do the subsidies anymore because it's unpopular. Why is it unpopular with Republicans? Why are Republicans pushing back? Trump did say, it was reported in the news, I think the New York Post, that he did say he wanted to extend, or an idea was to extend the subsidies for 2 more years with a couple of restrictions. And it was the Republicans that pushed back, not the Democrats.
Yeah. And Leonard, I just want to interject, and as we have a lot of breaking news on this show, it seems like all the time during our show, and this is not good. We're just learning, and the Associated Press is reporting that 2 National Guard members were shot in D.C., according to Homeland Security as well. I don't have any other information for you, but I will tell you this. This is how pathetic our president is. Caroline Leavitt has said that she briefed the president when he was on the golf course. So I just wanted to make that clear for all of you. Police say a suspect is in custody. Again, 2 people shot. We don't know the circumstances of exactly what happened. As we get more information, we'll share it with you. More gun violence. What a shocker. This time
Well,
in D.C.
you know-
I thought D.C. was so safe. What happened?
We can pray for the guardsmen,
Absolutely.
the National Guardsmen, and hopefully they'll pull through and it's minor injuries. But I think I read the other day an article where I believe it was MSNBC had an article, if I'm not mistaken, where it said 75% of the violence comes from the right wing Republicans, and the FBI has really earmarked white nationalists as the biggest domestic terrorist threat. That's not me. That's not my opinion. I'm coming on the show and throwing out like Jack Prozac saying, just giving out stats. They are they are causing the violence. They are the ones who are escalating it.
Yeah, no doubt. So we'll keep an eye out on this, and any new information that we get, we will be sharing it with you. A big portion of Donald Trump's campaign was saying that he would end the war in Ukraine, as you know.
24 hours.
Within 24 hours. He said all you would have to do is pick up the phone. Not only is that not true, but we are now, almost a year into Donald Trump's second term. And not only is the war still going strong, but they are continuing to coddle to Vladimir Putin. By the way, has Donald Trump ever put the blame on Putin? He's always said both sides. He's never put the blame on Putin.
He refuses to say he was the aggressor. He refuses to say that it was an attack on sovereignty and a sovereign nation.
It's
He
really
refuses to
despicable.
say it.
And this is Donald Trump now talking about the 28-point plan. And one reporter asked him, there's a lot of people that feel like, Mr. President, that this is favorable to Russia. Well, of course it is.
It was their wish list.
And then he talks about this plan being a concept, like he talks about healthcare. Listen to this.
Europe really wants to see it end if possible.
There were a lot of Republicans who felt that the first 28-point plan, was too favorable to Russia. Have you changed
Well, that was just a map. All that was is a map. That was not a plan. It was a concept. And from there, they've taken each one of the 28 points, and then you get down to 22 points. A lot of them we solved, and actually very favorably solved. So we'll see what happens.
What the hell is he talking about? Concept? So your concept of a plan is rewarding an evil, murderous dictator for invading our allies? This is when it goes on, and he's asked, what kind of concessions? This is an unbelievable clip that I'm about to play for you. The President of the United States is asked, what concessions Russia going to make? Keep in mind, Vladimir Putin and Russia are the ones that invaded Ukraine. Listen to Donald Trump's definition of what a concession would be. Listen to this.
I believe next week in Moscow.
Next week in Moscow?
I think so, yes.
What kinds of concessions are the Russians going to have to make?
Well, they're making concessions. Their big concession is they stop fighting and they don't take any more land. Again, it's a war that would have never happened if I was president. This was not anything that was going to happen. This happened because of stupidity. It's too bad.
So let me get this right. A concession
Stop killing.
is to stop killing people. So that would be like me saying, for example, if somebody's in a crowd of people and starts, shooting a bunch of innocent people, that person is caught. We know what happened. What is the punishment? Just stop killing people. I'm being serious,
Can I
though.
make a quick analogy?
Yeah, it's insane.
So, as you know, I was union president, and I was the head negotiator for the supervisor union. That would be like me going to the city and the city council and telling them how to negotiate against us. And then when I brought the board in and we all sat down with the city already knows how to negotiate with us. That is so underhanded, and it really shows Trump's character, because I don't know if he truly loves Putin or if they have something on him. I don't know what it is.
And the president also is trying to get Ukraine to give up their land to Russia.
Yeah.
And make no mistake about it, you are rewarding an evil, murderous dictator for starting a war. Donald Trump is asked about this, about maybe Ukraine giving up a little bit too much of their land. Have a listen to this.
Do you think that Ukraine was being asked to give too much land back to Russia? I know at one point you said they shouldn't have to give any back.
It's really up. Look, the way it's going, if you look, it's just moving in one direction. So eventually that's land that over the next couple of months might be gotten by Russia anyway. So do you want to fight and lose another 50, 60,000 people? or do you want to do something now? In some cases, the land is going in the other direction. So they're negotiating. They're trying to get it done. You want to have a border? You can't have a border that goes through a highway or a border that goes through the middle of a town. So that doesn't work. So it's a long, complicated process. And very sad because so many people are being killed.
Wait, come again? Ukraine is taking land that does not belong to them from Russia?
What he's trying to say is in the Donetsk region or in Kherson or
Right.
somewhere like that, what he's saying is, well, you know, if Russia's already taken half of the land, and if it goes through a highway, well, we can't just split it there, so Ukraine's going to have to give it up. He's as pro-Russian as it gets.
Oh, sure. And the president, you know, and his envoy are primarily concerned, at least it appears to me, with doing anything and everything they can to make Vladimir Putin happy and reward him for being a murderer, for his brutal and sadistic war of aggression. That's exactly what this is. Make no mistake about it. We are turning into a nation because of Donald Trump and his right-wing lackeys that is selling out to our allies, in this case Ukraine, and literally embracing the worst people on the planet. That's exactly who Vladimir Putin is. Viktor Orban is another example of that. Kim Jong-un is another example of that. Kissing the ring of evil, murderous dictators and turning our back on our friends. That is who Donald Trump is, because he's a wannabe dictator himself.
I don't think Donald Trump understands geopolitics. I think he doesn't understand how it works. He doesn't understand that America is the only country that spread democracy throughout the whole world.
Right.
And they believe in sovereignty, and each country is sovereign and they own their own land. He just looks at things through a dictator's eyes, through autocracy. That's all he does.
Yeah.
He wants to be a king, and he respects people who are nothing but kings. And I personally think that Russia-Ukraine is going to backfire, but not as bad as the economy, and maybe we'll get to that later. But I think it's going to backfire on him because he's making some kind of deal with Russia that he's not telling the people about.
I don't know what Vladimir Putin has on him.
There's been rumors.
Something doesn't make sense. Just like it doesn't make sense we're shooting out these boats. They don't need to be doing what they're doing. There has to be some reasoning behind it, and it's not because they don't want people smuggling drugs into the United States. But going back to this, and then we'll move on, it saddens the hell out of me, this war. I remember this was a few years ago. I had the opportunity to meet some wonderful people in Las Vegas, some who have family in Russia and some who have family in Ukraine. And I had like 3 or 4 women in studio, and they got along great. They all agreed this is horrible and Putin is certainly a dictator. And, you know, there's families out there that are losing loved ones on a daily basis. And make no mistake about it, it's only because of one person. Now, I understand the troops in Russia are doing what they're told, and but make no mistake about it, the person is Vladimir Putin. And it is interesting because, and I'm going to say something that maybe a lot of people might not agree with, but, you know, the world is certainly a better place without Saddam Hussein. But I will tell you this, I think Vladimir Putin is more of a threat to the world than Saddam Hussein ever was. I'm glad Saddam Hussein is gone. He was terrible to his people and a terrorist. But the only way this is really going to end is if somebody takes out Vladimir Putin. Because even if they come to some sort of agreement, which I don't think they are, but even if they did,
I was going to bring that up.
Vladimir Putin is going to do this again.
He's not going to stick to any agreement.
And in a perfect world, if we had the right people, you might be saying, Brian, you're going to start a war with Russia if that happens. Okay, well, I don't want that to happen, but I also don't want our allies invaded, and this will not be the last time in our lifetime that Vladimir Putin will do this. He's not going anywhere. He's an evil dictator. He's one of the most dangerous people on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. And we have our government, particularly Donald Trump and his staff, that are coddling him. Did you see? You saw the other Wickoff the other day go like this. He pats his heart before he pats his heart before shaking Vladimir Putin's hand.
Yeah, you know what
a
that
sign
means?
of love.
I love you, right? Yeah, they, you know, the the problem is, if they're allowed to keep their land, they already have Russian forces on the border, right? Because if they're allowed to keep all the land that they took over,
Yeah.
so an invasion is imminent at all times. Like, in other words, you don't have to pile up at the border because you already have your forces in Ukraine. And I think Vladimir Putin is in a tough spot. But what about, the UK, and what about the European Union? They were supposed to give them ballistic missiles, but they keep backing off too. What's going on?
It's
Why are they backing off?
I'm just so saddened. And listen, Joe Biden was not perfect. I have my criticisms of him, no doubt. I can tell you right now that Joe Biden didn't roll out the red carpet for
He'd
Vladimir
never stand
Putin.
for this.
I could also tell you that, and I keep saying this over and over again, that if Kamala Harris had won, the coddling would not be happening. Kamala wasn't even high on meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. By the way, I don't blame her. But we have the softest guy in general when it comes to everything, particularly dealing with evil, murderous dictators. For whatever reason, he continues to coddle Vladimir Putin, and the world is suffering for it. It's not just Ukraine. It's the
Well,
world.
it's transactional, so there's some kind of behind-the-scenes deal, I believe, and it might be as simple as Vladimir Putin told him, "Yeah, when this is over, when you're done being president, come build Trump hotels in Russia. We would love to have you."
Yeah.
It could be that simple, because that's the terms that Trump thinks in. He thinks, "What's next for me? What can I do? What can
Right.
I get out of it?"
Right. It's just unbelievable. Switching topics, I play a lot of clips from Mark Wayne Mullen because it seems like he's on television more than actually doing his job. That goes to a lot of people on the right, including Caroline Leavitt and others. But this is a take that is just so out there.
He
It's
is
so
out there.
absurd. So Mark Wayne Mullen is talking about health care. As you know, 2/3 of the country have comorbidities, right? And yes, we are a very unhealthy nation, sure. There's a lot of people that smoke, they drink, they eat too much, they're obese, like Donald Trump. But we also know that a lot of people need health care to no fault of their own. It could be hereditary. They could have diabetes. They could get cancer. There's a lot of diseases out there where you can look at someone and say, man, it wasn't your fault. By the way, even if it is your fault, I still want people getting the help that they need. I'm not saying that if you're overweight and you don't take care of yourself, you don't deserve health care. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The reason why I'm bringing this up, I want you to listen to Mark Wayne Mullen and how stupid he is. Like, what if somebody has a heart attack or something in the past? Mark Wayne Mullen is making the case that if you don't take care of yourself, you don't deserve health care. And if you do take care of yourself, those are the people that should be getting health care. Listen to this. It is absolutely and positively ridiculous.
And what the president wants to do is bring choices back, right? Compare it to health and to your auto insurance. If you drive correctly, you don't get speed tickets, you don't have accidents, you get rewarded with lower health or auto insurance. However, if you drive fast, drive reckless, have accidents, you're going to have higher health or auto insurance. What the president would like to do is say, hey, if you take care of yourself, you don't smoke, you don't dip, you're not drinking, you're not overweight, you're working out, and then you should pay less than the guy that is obviously not taking care of himself. What the insurance companies, they want all those together because it's their risk management.
Right.
And Obamacare forced them to come together.
So what if you have cancer? What if you've had a heart attack in the past? What if it's hereditary? Should you pay more for health insurance than someone who has not had any major, diseases or illnesses or anything like that?
He's comparing it to car insurance.
That's what the ACA prevented, by the way. And this idiot,
Yeah.
Mark Wayne Mullen, is making the case that everybody that's sick, it's all your fault and you don't deserve health care. It is the dumbest take I've ever heard.
Yeah, but car insurance has carve-outs,
Right.
right? They have a carve-out. They have a whole list
Right.
of things. And medical insurance, at this point, does not. When you're covered for your health concerns, whether it be even a flu. You could get the flu and have to go to quick care. And so he's trying to compare it to car insurance. And you know what that is? That's just another shady MAGA spin word salad sandwich that makes no sense no matter how long you give him to talk
Well,
about it.
according by his standards, let's just go by Mark Wayne Mullen's standards. We know that Donald Trump's diet consists of KFC and McDonald's. So does that mean he shouldn't go to Walter Reed Medical
And who
Center?
determines?
Yeah, it's just so
Like
stupid.
who says, well, I eat salad every day and I eat a little bit of protein and I'm very healthy, but one day last week I had McDonald's. So now are you off the list? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no way to gauge it. There's no carve out. And I think that he's trying hard he tries so hard to not to look like a Donald
Well,
Trump sellout.
He's got short man syndrome. The guy is like 4 feet tall. He wishes he had stilts. I'm serious. The guy's like literally 4 feet tall. He has short man syndrome. You know what? You see these people, and listen, there's nothing wrong with working out. I do from time to time as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But I find that people that are in the gym 20 hours a day are trying to overcompensate.
For what could they possibly?
It could be a Trump mushroom. I don't know. It could be the fact that you're very insecure with yourself. It could be a number of different things. I think in Mark Wayne, because Mark Wayne Mullen has said he goes into the gym every day, and he's one of those guys, Mr. Muscular, 4 foot tall. I think he's a very insecure man. I think he's extremely ill-informed. He's very stupid. He has short man syndrome. And he says stupid things. He loves hearing his own voice. He's on television all the time. I think he makes more TV appearances than he does actually true
So he doesn't
working.
like people who work out like he does or look like him or have the
Yeah.
same color skin.
Yeah.
Right? He just doesn't like anyone who's
Well, I'll
not
say
like
this
him.
right now. If Mark Wayne Mullen has any severe illness, I don't think he should be able to get health care. Okay? Let him sit in his home. That's how I feel about Mark Wayne Mullen, and that's how I feel about these MAGA Republicans that want to take 20 million people off of Medicaid. If you go to the ER, just sit there in the ER, and you shouldn't get any help. Call Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to help you. He's a doctor, right? Call him. He'll shoot you up with some ivermectin for all you MAGA turds out there that don't think that Americans deserve health care, that they don't deserve the Medicare that they need to live and survive, and prescription drugs that are that they need to live, that are affordable. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all these people in Washington, D.C. that want to take the most basic needs from the
terrible
American people. I'm sick of it.
They're terrible people, Brian. I'll say it. And I know I get on the Christian train once in a while, and that's kind of something that rubs me the wrong way, because Mike Johnson and people like Mullen, I'm a Christian, and when you ask them, what about feeding the hungry? What about caring for the sick? What about the elderly? That's all in the Bible, right? That's all Christianity. That's all in there. It explains it. Don't bear false witness against your neighbor.
Yeah.
Don't lie. Don't kill. Murder. What about thou shalt not murder?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to defend a guy like Chauvin? Really?
Yeah, I just
These Christians?
mesmerizing to me. Mark Wayne Mullen is a piece of human scum, and you can burn in hell. There have been rumors, reports, that there are plenty of Republicans out there that are going to be following in Marjorie Taylor Greene's footsteps. At least those
Yeah,
are the rumors.
That's what they're saying.
Um,
Lots of people.
and Hakeem Jeffries was asked about this rumor, and he confirmed it. So have a listen to what Hakeem Jeffries had to say about possibly plenty of Republicans following in Marjorie Taylor Greene's footsteps. Have a listen to this.
Donald Trump and Republicans are completely falling apart. They've been a total failure from the beginning of the year, broken their core promise, which was to drive down the high cost of living. Costs are going up, housing costs out of control, child care costs out of control, grocery costs out of control, electricity bills through the roof, and now they continue to refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, meaning they're going to make health care unaffordable for tens of millions of folks. At the same time, they're unleashing this incredible extremism on the American people. Donald Trump is deeply unpopular. They got wiped out in elections all across the country, up and down the ballot, from New Jersey to New York to Virginia to Pennsylvania to Georgia to Mississippi to California, and at all points in between. And now you've got Republicans who are ready to get out of town before sundown. And I think these reports that Republicans are going to follow Marjorie Taylor Greene to the exit, these are all consistent with some of the things that we're hearing in the United States House of Representatives when we're on the floor.
I'll tell you what, that's saying something. There's Hakeem Jeffries pretty much confirming the rumors that there are a lot of Republicans out there that are going to be retiring or stepping down. These are the same cowards. And listen, maybe that means that more are going to be speaking out.
Well, they say morale's at an all-time low in the
Yeah.
Republicans. And the one main personality trait that was really bringing them together against Trump was that they don't like the way they're treated.
Yeah.
They're marginalized. They're told to vote, how to vote. These people dedicate many, many hours, and they fundraise, and they go to town halls, and they work hard. And Trump just wants them to be a bunch of robots and sit in there and just do what they're told and not complain. And if they do, they'll retaliate against them. And I don't blame them for being tired of that. I think it's time for them to stand up and say, you know what? It's just not worth it for me to be a legislator anymore. It's just not.
So There aren't a lot of people, what I would say, that I wish somebody would just sock them in the face, because I don't condone violence in any way, shape, or form. But I will make an exception here and talk about Jesse Waters.
In
for a
face
moment.
socking? Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk about Jesse Waters. He has a very punchable face. So you know this ad that Senator Kelly put out with these 5 other Democrats?
Yes.
And all they simply said was, you should not abide by an illegal order, which is, by the way, it's what our Constitution says. That's all they said. And the attacks from the right on Kelly and others are just so despicable and disgusting, it's terrible. But Jesse Waters is probably one of the worst human beings alive. I mean, he is just so despicable. And I want you to listen to the disrespect for a man who served this country honorably, and his lovely wife, who was shot, by the way, I believe in the face, if I'm not mistaken, and what that family has had to go through because of their service to this country.
And 6 other people were killed.
Correct.
In that shooting.
Correct. And I want you to listen to the way Jesse Waters speaks about Senator Kelly. Have a listen to this.
The Senate also treated Pete like crap. He's not going to take this from another senator. There's a chain of command. Pete now controls Kelly. Kelly's going to come in, and he's going to get a little bit of a spanking. And Pete already looked at the war medals this guy had in his chest, and they're like, they're all cockeyed. They're in the wrong direction. The guy doesn't even know how to dress up.
There you have Jesse Waters on Fox News trying to downplay all the medals that a living hero received when he was serving the country. Jesse Waters grew up from a very wealthy, rich, white family in Connecticut. He was given everything on a silver platter. He was offered the opportunity, because of his money and who his family is, to do 5-minute segments on the Bill O'Reilly Show many years ago. He's not funny. He's not talented. He's a smug prick with a very punchable face. And for him, a man who never served this country, people like Senator Kelly are the reasons why idiots like Jesse Waters are allowed to be on television making millions of dollars reading a teleprompter every day. And Jesse Waters is going after a decorated hero. And by the way, that's not how the chain of command works. You see, just because Pete Hegseth is the defense secretary doesn't mean that he controls Kelly in any way, shape, or form. That's not how this works. Kelly is a sitting senator. He has a job to do. And Pete Hegseth doesn't tell Kelly what to do. That's not how this works.
Can we call him Jesse Waterdown Waters? Because he
I
always waters it down?
I'll tell you, I would call him a lot worse things than that. It's so despicable. And then he's talking about how Kelly doesn't know how to dress up. Like,
Yeah,
what do you,
so a gentleman, Pete Hegseth, who never received the medals that I know of that
Yep,
that
correct.
Mark Kelly received.
Correct.
Because he was in actual combat.
Mm-hmm.
He actually flew fighter jets and was almost taken down by missiles and gunfire. Is going to say how those medals should be worn when he has no idea. And by the way, quick note: when I was president of the union, I was a sergeant and I was a firearms instructor, and I taught Gabby how to shoot. They assigned me to the range for the day, and with her and her husband. And this was about 2011, 2012.
They seem like wonderful people.
They were very nice people, very respectful, and that was my job assignment for the day. So I have met them.
Yeah,
and
they
I was
seem
impressed.
they seem like great people, and I'm so glad that she was able to pull through with her very serious injuries. And Jesse Waters is a piece of human scum. Let me be very clear on that. I pray to Jesus, because I know there's a lot of right-wing evangelicals out there that are big MAGA supporters, and they probably pleasure themselves to Fox Noise and Jesse Waters every day. I'm going to say this genuinely. I pray to Jesus that Jesse Waters is sent to an El Salvador prison and he's never allowed to come back unless he pays for a $5 million gold card. I want Jesse Waters deported. All you MAGA turds out there that are calling on Mehdi Hassan to be deported, and all these very intelligent people that speak facts and separate fact from fiction, I want Jesse Waters and all these scumbags, except for Jessica and a few others, on Fox News to be deported to an El Salvador prison. That's what I want. Jesse Waters can go to hell, as far as I'm concerned. Her and the racist witch, Laura Ingraham, and the dad bod buffoon, Sean Hannity. There's so many bad people at
Badly
Fox News.
built butch body.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many.
Horse legs. What was it?
You know, horse legs. Do what I do what the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, did. Put all these people on a plane with a brochure and a $10 McDonald's card and send them somewhere and don't allow them to come back. That's what I want for all these bastards on Fox News and all these right-wing turds. Seriously, I've had it with these people. All right, well, here's the portion of the show that we call the Trump mushroom gobbler of the day. And
Let's go.
And the one that I would reward the medal to today is Stephen Miller. So Stephen Miller says he praises God every day that Trump is our president. If you want to listen to somebody performing verbal fellatio on the air, it's Stephen Miller. Have a listen to this.
So you ask me what I'm thankful for? This Thanksgiving, I praise God every day that Donald Trump is our president. And we've gone from 30% inflation, 20 million illegals, unlimited refugees, violent crime in our cities, to security in our cities, no more illegals, no more refugees, and finally a country that puts American citizens first.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm thankful? That Stephen Miller's not that smart.
Yeah, the Trump mushroom gobbler of the day. By the way, inflation's been going up for the last 5 months. Just about everything has been going through the roof. As far as the 20 million illegals, what he fails to tell people is that some of those people are American citizens. Some of those people have been sent to high maximum security prisons that have never committed a violent crime in their life. When he talks about unlimited refugees, he welcomed a bunch of South Africans that are 100% white with open arms that were seeking asylum, but he hasn't done that for brown people. As far as violent crime in our cities, as we're now just reporting in D.C., as 2 service members have been shot.
No update yet.
We don't have an update on exactly what the cause for it is, but we will give you more information as soon
Can I
as
say that
it
he
becomes
reminds me
available.
of Hermann Goring, the number 2 for Hitler? Or is that too? Is that like?
Well,
we're
I
not
mean,
going to get kicked off a platform for
No,
saying that, are we?
no. I mean, I kind of stay away from the Hitler stuff. I kind of stay away from that. What we know, by the way, about the 2 shootings, the shooting in D.C., is that the 2 National Guard members are in critical condition.
Oh, boy.
We do know a suspect is in custody. That is not good. Initial reports are that 2 of them are in critical condition. But according to
We'll
Stephen
say a
Miller,
prayer for them.
we don't have any violent crime in our cities. By the way, I was in D.C. a few weeks ago. There's homeless people everywhere. It looked like the same D.C. of old. And it's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Political theater.
Yeah, and Stephen Miller.
Well, can I ask you something? There was a rumor that Carolyn Levitt and some of the others were upset with Stephen Miller because I guess he gobbled all the mushrooms without telling anyone. Do you think that's true?
That might be.
You think he gobbled all the mushrooms before anyone else got any?
I don't know. I've heard Caroline Levitt has gobbled a bunch of mushrooms. Last I checked, her 75-year-old husband. But anyway, I digress.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I know, it's horrible.
We kid you, Levitt.
No, I'm not kidding. I mean, I don't think she. I think she performed. I'm not saying she Monica Lewinsky Donald Trump, but certainly by the way she behaves and the way she acts, it's everything
And
against
the way they look at each other.
everything
you
against
know?
Jesus' teachings. It is kind of bizarre because I think of Erica Kirk and the way she looks at J.D. Vance. It's very peculiar. I think Caroline Levitt and Donald Trump have a very similar relationship. I guess I'll leave it at that. All right, here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will give you an update, if there is any, on these 2 National Guardsmen that were shot that are currently in critical condition. A suspect is in custody in Washington, D.C. Listen, I don't condone violence in any way, shape, or form. We don't know exactly why, the what. We don't know anything. But I'm telling you that I'm not saying this is directly through Donald Trump's policy, but I'm telling you that so long as you have these service members that are deployed into all these cities in the country, bad things are going to happen.
I hope it doesn't escalate the violence. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm hoping too, but we'll give you an update on that. We want to take some phone calls on the other side of the break, and here is what we are discussing today. We're talking about a lot. First of all, what do you make of Donald Trump's statements the day before Thanksgiving? Healthcare for 20 million Americans doesn't seem like Donald Trump's top priority, not even close, while he's golfing right now.
Maybe we can get a MAGA to call in and defend his statements. That would be great.
We will see. But yeah, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about Donald Trump's statements about how he does not want to extend the subsidies for so many millions of Americans that need it. Healthcare. What do you make of this 28-point plan that is so favorable to Russia? The fact that they would even ask Zelensky to sign off on this is so...
Can I ask you a quick question before we go to break?
Yeah.
So if Mullen's plan is that people who eat badly and are overweight and don't work out don't receive health insurance, would that include Because Donald Trump gets health insurance through a public plan because he's a president, I would assume. Does that include him?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question.
I would like to ask him that.
It is. So what are we talking?
Mark Mullen, please call in.
I agree. So again, what are we talking about today? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about obviously Donald Trump, talking about healthcare. No problem with not extending the subsidies. I just mentioned to you the 28-point plan, which is very favorable to Russia, and obviously rumors are circulating as well that more of Marjorie Taylor Greene type Republicans are going to be stepping down. The phone number to call in, if you would like to be a part of the conversation, is 702-221-7283. And again, that number, now's your chance to call in the day before Thanksgiving. It will be your last chance to call in until Monday. So now's the time to do it. Again, that number, 702-221-7283. Leonard Cardinal
Call in
joining
now.
us. Yeah, Leonard Cardinal joining us in studio. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with your phone calls on the other side. It's Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, NICOLE, MITCHELL.com. You can reach out to me on my website or on Instagram, and I will be happy and figure out what you're looking for and how I can support you in getting there.
Have you ever dreamed of having your own radio show or a podcast, but just didn't think it was possible? Well, dreams can come true. Radio U. Radio U is a 5-day course that'll teach you how to acquire your dream show. We'll teach you how to host, how to write commercial, how to interview, how to market, how to write a contract, and most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part, every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call. 702-763-5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at RadioYOU101.com.
Get ready, football fans. The Los Angeles Rams are back, and they're hungrier than ever in the City of Angels, where stars shine bright. A new chapter unfolds on the gridiron. Buckle up, because the Rams are about to electrify the NFL. All Los Angeles Rams games can be heard right here on KSHP, AM 1400 and 107.1 FM. Los Angeles Rams football, sponsored by Steiner's Pub, a true Nevada-style pub.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday, and brings me no pleasure, and this is very sad, the day before Thanksgiving, to have to report this, but 2 service members have been killed. Their injuries were critical, I was told, and now it's just been reported that these 2 National Guardsmen have lost their life. So this is a very tragic and sad story. Suspect is in custody. I have no idea what the circumstances are, how this happened, but this is a tragedy, and my thought goes out to the victims and their families and what is an absolutely tragic situation.
And it's going to ruin the holiday for their families too.
Yeah, it's just
whenever
it just,
Thanksgiving comes around, they're going to remember that that's the day they lost their family members. It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's really sad.
You know, we're grieving with all of you. It's just a terrible. Anytime anybody in law enforcement or a service member or any innocent person loses their life, it's horrible. So I don't know the circumstances as to how this happened. We know that a person who is most likely responsible for this, the shooter, is in custody, but that's all we know right now. So there's more information that's going to be coming up. This is obviously very tragic and it's very sad. I'm wondering, obviously we blame the person who pulled the trigger, who committed this horrible act. This is absolutely tragic. I'm wondering if he didn't deploy troops into DC, if these 2 service members would still be alive. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I thought you were going to say, I wonder if it was an unstable human being who was pushed by rhetoric and violence and political violence and encouragement of, I mean, let's face it, the president of the United States last week said that people were guilty of seditious conspiracy, and that's punishable by death.
Now,
and in the old days, they used to hang them.
Now, I don't know. The problem is when we have these sorts of things happening while we're live on the air, there's a lot of different reports out there, and I don't really trust anybody on social media. But there are several people on social media that are saying that this was an ambush, that these 2 service members were ambushed. That very well might be possible. I don't know. But again, we're going to continue to monitor.
Not much you can do about an ambush, Brian.
No, you can't. I remember, as you know, 2 police officers here in Las Vegas that were ambushed in a pizza restaurant.
Eating lunch.
It's just horrible.
In cars. There's police officers eating lunch in the car or stopped at a light.
And I had to interview one of the widows, and it was one of the most difficult interviews I've ever had to do. So my thoughts go out to the families of these 2 individuals. It's just horrible. My heart goes out to them. I'm sure we will get more information as it comes out. The number to call, 702-221-7283. Again, 702-221-7283. Let's start off with Craig. Craig is first up on PTL. Hello, Craig.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, Craig, what's up?
Hey, Brian. What bothers me is, these right-wingers, they just love picking up people from Arizona between McCain and, what's his name, Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
McCain's 2 parents and grandparents were admirals. And, of course, McCain spent all those years in prison. Kelly is a war hero and an astronaut. And when you join the military, one of the first things you do as a private or an officer, you learn about UCMJ and you know about military justice. We've had horror stories throughout our history. My Lai and all kinds of other, Abu Ghraib and some of the other places. Why won't people learn?
So I agree with you. And you could certainly make the case. And who was the woman who ran for governor?
Grijalva.
No. The woman who ran for governor in Arizona.
But she was also, Grijalva was also from Arizona.
Right, but who's the Republican who ran for governor in California?
Lake? Crazy Lake?
So
I call her Crazy Lake.
One of the main reasons why Carrie Lake lost in Arizona is because she was called out and said disparaging things about John McCain supporters, if you recall. I think you got to lower your radio, my friend. We got a little bit of an echo, but I appreciate the phone call, and you're right. It's just as frustrating to me as it is from you, Craig. And I do appreciate the call. Thank you so much. All right, number to call, 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be
We have one line open
of the conversation. Let's go to Brian. Brian is next up on PTL. What's up, Brian? Hi, Brian. Go right ahead.
What's up,
Hey, Brian. Hey, Leonard. How you doing?
What's up?
Good.
I started that trolling, man. You still for governor. I started there.
I would not make a good politician.
Well, you're kind.
I don't play ball.
But
I don't try to get along with everybody. I'm not go along to get along. But what's on your mind?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm taking the time.
No. It's all good, man. I was just calling in today because it's a shame for me. It really is. It's a shame for me that I once served when I was a younger man. I served in the Army, and I just couldn't imagine. I just could not imagine serving today as I did like in 2005 rather than 2025. Listen, the previous caller, he was spot on, dead on. As soon as you get enlisted and you get in, they teach you about UCMJ. They teach you about Article 15. They teach you about court martial.
Correct.
They teach you about chain of command. They teach you all of this. And they also tell you, you don't have to follow an unlawful order. Everybody knows this. I refuse to call our military a joke, but our commander-in-chief is definitely a joke. The Secretary of Defense is definitely a joke. And anybody that supports them and listens to them is definitely a joke. Don't respect you at all. At all.
There's nothing illegal about reciting the military code of justice and word for word, verbatim, publicly under the First Amendment. And I don't know. I really don't know why Trump was so mad, because it was really a minor thing. It's like saying, hey, just so you know, you can't rob banks. You know, he was just stating what the law says.
Right. Yep.
Well, Brian, on another note, you made me upset yesterday. You really upset me.
Who's that? Me?
Yeah, you did.
You upset me.
You upset me.
Why? What did I do?
Because you want Darlene and my guy from New York, you want them to be your favorite callers, like tag team. No.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say my favorite callers. I said I would love them both to be on the air to attack a MAGA. That's what I said.
And Darlene is loyal, and she's a very nice lady.
Yeah.
And we really like Darlene a lot.
Brian,
Everyone
don't be
does.
jealous. You're my third favorite caller, okay? Thank you, Brian. I gotta run, my friend. Brian, I love you. You know that. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Jerry. Jerry is next up on PTL. What's up, Jerry? Jerry, are you there? Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Yeah.
What's on your mind, Jerry?
Jerry?
Hey, you guys trying to set my phone off here.
Phone?
Come again?
The comment. You guys are talking about the comment of people being favors from politicians for doing stupid stuff, and I do believe that Trump shooting and this thing going on now with this ICE people getting shot, it's all RNC created.
Well, I tend to obviously, for the most part, agree with you. Obviously, we can never condone any sort of violence like this. It's horrible. And just because you don't like Donald Trump's policies or what he's doing, that doesn't give somebody the right to take matters into their own hands. And I know you're not saying that. But I also agree that this probably, and again, we need to learn more about what took place and who did this. But whether it's somebody on the left or the right, whatever the case may be, no, I don't. I do believe that this does not happen today, and these two service members do not lose their life if not for Donald Trump. I do believe that. I wholeheartedly, from what we know so far, I do believe that.
Yeah, I'm with you, brother. Keep up the good work.
Well, thanks you, sir.
For the call, Jerry.
I appreciate that. That call sounded like he was in a tunnel. I don't know. It was weird.
I couldn't make out some of the stuff he was
I
saying.
get what he was saying. I get it. Yep. 702-221-SAVE is the number to call. Let's go to Shay. Shay is next up on PTL. What's up, Shay?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
I got two things to say. One, the Georgia case just got officially dropped.
That's true.
With I don't know if you have seen that.
Yes.
Yep.
It just shows another illustration of why I've always said that Biden made a fatal mistake in having Merrick Garland as the AG. I thought, he did a disservice and he was an absolute failure of not holding Trump accountable and locking him up. And I will also say that with this House race, there's a possibility where Democrats could take the House before the midterms. I am still, and till this day, I do not want Hakeem Jeffries as the Speaker of the House.
What do y'all make of that?
I would agree with that.
So I have respect for Hakeem Jeffries. I think he's a smart guy, but I don't think he's done a great job. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'll take him over Chuck Schumer, but there are so many more better.
I want like an AOC or a Jasmine Crockett, somebody who's
Well,
really fired up.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Shay?
Hold on. He had a question
Yeah.
first. Go,
go
ahead,
ahead.
Shay. What did you want to ask? Go ahead.
I want to see the same speaker battle that we saw Republicans did when they
won't
took
happen.
over the House in 2022.
That won't
I don't
happen.
believe-
The Democrats are going to stick together, and they pick the person they believe is best. They don't do the infighting and the throat cutting. But let me ask you something, Shay. Do you know why they dropped that case against Trump in Georgia?
He appointed I think he appointed his own prosecutor.
No, they dropped the case because the prosecutor said it was untenable. You cannot charge a sitting president, okay? And he said by the time Trump is out of office, there's a very small chance that any of those charges will stick because they were state charges. And another fatal mistake that they made was that federal charges were already filed, and then they filed state charges, which is kind of unusual. So even though I disagree, I think Trump was guilty of what he did. That's my opinion. There were legitimate reasons for dropping it.
Thank you for the call,
But
my
it still
friend.
doesn't mean
Go ahead. You had something else to say.
He
Go
still
ahead.
doesn't like it.
Go ahead.
I think at the end of the day, it's amazing how this man got away from he had 4 cases before the election?
Yeah.
And not once he didn't step in a courtroom except for the New York case?
Well, yeah, but this is the way he's lived his whole life. He's never had accountability, as he had yes men around him his entire life, and he thinks he's above the law, and it's the way he's conducted himself his entire life. It's very, very sad. We're learning that one of these service members was shot directly in the head too, which is just absolutely. I guess if you're going to go, you probably never know what hit you, but it's again very sad. We're still monitoring the story of 2 service members.
We can pray for the families, though. You know,
Two-
they're
yeah,
going to
two-
go through a lot.
2 service members in D.C. that were executed. We don't know why. We know that there's a suspect in custody, and I'm sure right wingers are on social media right now spreading conspiracy theories that it's Joe Biden's fault.
I just hope they report it accurately, Brian. I don't want any political spin. I don't care if it was a lefty or a righty, or it was an extremist or a non-extremist, or it was a child or a young adult. Just report what happened. Just say what happened.
I agree. Let's go to Thomas. Thomas is next up on PTL, 702-221-7283. What's up, Thomas?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Leonard. First of all, I just wanted to say, happy Thanksgiving. Thankful for the work you guys put in. Thankful for PTL Nation.
Well, Leonard doesn't do any work at all. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Leonard does.
I'm
No, Leonard's
retired and I do very little work.
great. Thank you for those kind comments, Thomas. I appreciate it.
I also, weirdly enough, want to show thanks to Tim Pool on this fine day.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I don't think I don't think Tim's a horrible guy.
We need Tim. Tim's going to line up some really good debates for Brian.
Yeah.
He got the focus of the nation on the Ohio governor race by sharing that video of Vivek Ramaswamy saying it was AI.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was completely real. And now he just helped out Amy Acton in the Ohio governor race. So thankful for him today.
So I have some criticisms of Tim Pool, of course. I've gotten to know him a little bit off the air. I don't think he's a horrible guy, but I do believe that he always rushes to defend so many Republicans, in this case MAGA Republicans, but if it's a Democrat, he's the first person to criticize them for it, and I've told him that. But
He treats
I
his
saw
guests
that
well.
it really made him look really. Listen, he goofed, and I think it would be
And
good.
then
It'd be good on him just to go on the air and just say, you know what, I really effed up. I
No,
was-
100%.
I mean,
I don't see him doing that though.
Well, that's an issue with me, and I will address that with him because I'm going to see him in a few weeks. But we all make mistakes, right? We're all not perfect, and
No, for sure.
and
for sure.
and maybe he got some bad information from somebody that he trusted, and that's okay. Okay, you made a mistake. Lesson learned. Just go on the air and say, "Hey, I screwed up. I'm sorry." Like
I've seen you apologize in the exact same episode,
Yeah.
exact same airtime when you've messed up. So
Of course.
yeah,
I
there's
mean,
no
if I-
reason why he couldn't do that.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
We're
There's
all
nothing-
human beings.
yeah.
We're not perfect. I'm on the air 10 hours a week. Okay. I'm going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. And it's
Am
okay.
I able to bring up one more thing?
Yeah,
before I
yeah,
get
of
off
course.
here, too?
Of course. Go ahead.
Did you see Pablo Torre's podcast on Riley Gaines?
I did not. What happened there?
Basically just exposed like how much money she's made from these speaking engagements that she's done.
Grifter.
And her former swim coach that she like had called her best friend and all this stuff in her book was accused of sexual assault on a lot of the swimmers there. So it was basically like, why haven't you come out and talked about that more?
So I was attacked on the Piers Morgan show a few months ago when I went after Riley Gaines. I called her a grifter, and she said, I never asked to do this. I wanted to go to dental school and do blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, I'm sure you're getting forced to make boatloads of money. And she denied it, by the way. She lied.
She used the same defense on today's episode of
Well, yeah, because she's a lying grifter. Yeah, we get it, Riley. Transgender women shouldn't be playing with other women.
That's
you've
why
been, you've been saying the same thing for several
Her
years.
transgender comments are what made her popular.
Well, yeah.
It had nothing to do with, I had no choice.
And I want to add something else. Why the hell does anybody care what Riley Gaines thinks about?
Because she makes money.
Why the hell does anybody care what Riley Gaines thinks about foreign policy? Or why does anybody care what Riley Gaines cares about politics in general? She has zero experience. She's a dumb bimbo. All she does is attack transgenders.
Because there's a lot of people that on there for her idiotic position. Go ahead, Thomas.
What'd you say, caller? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that Piers knows what he's doing. By getting her on there, she'll say something stupid, and it leads to clicks, and it leads to engagement on his socials and on his YouTube page.
Yeah. Well, I think Caroline Leavitt and Riley Gaines, they're both opportunists. They probably have a lot in common. But going back to Riley Gaines, she's an opportunist. She's a grifter. She's the white version of Candace Owens, as far as I'm concerned. I have no risk, although I think Candace Owens probably is a little bit more intelligent than Riley. As I said before, and I'll say again, we have no idea who Riley Gaines is if she's not attacking transgenders. Nobody knows who she is as a swimmer. They know who she is for spreading hatred and bigotry. And anybody who would pay Riley Gaines to make a speech
has to be the same way.
A freaking moron. Yeah. Any company, anybody that pays Riley Gaines to make an appearance, you are a moron. I will call out everybody.
You called her out on Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
And you know what she did? She got pouty. I can't believe someone's talking
to
me
like
victim.
that.
I can't believe that you're saying that. And it was all true.
Yeah. What she should be is she should be a dental hygienist, and I would be totally okay with that because that's what she wanted to go to school for. Instead she's go ahead.
This is getting off Riley because I heard you mention Caroline Leavitt. Did you see that she has a family member that was picked up by ICE?
I did. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was like a nephew's sister. Is that correct? Is that who it was?
I believe so. It's an in-law type marriage relation.
So as my producer brings this up on the screen, apparently a woman who has a child with Caroline Leavitt's brother has been arrested by ICE, and the woman and Leavitt's brother are no longer in a relationship. That's the information that we have. Yeah,
he's a baby daddy.
How convenient.
Yeah, very convenient. I wonder if that person will be shipped out to an El Salvador.
I wonder if she
prison.
wears a cross every day. And he wears a cross and act like they're Christians like her.
Again, some of the biggest hypocrites America has to offer. And here's what I wish would happen to Riley Gaines, okay? I wish that Riley Gaines would be put in some sort of mental facility, and she would be surrounded by all transgenders, and she would be the only person in this hospital that is not transgender. But the people who are transgender aren't the people that need help. They're trying to help her. That's what I would root for Riley. I would root for Riley Gaines to get care 24/7 from transgenders. That's what I would.
Hey, we're all right there with you, Brian.
Right.
God bless you guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, man.
Good
Happy
call.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I mean, is there anybody out there that believes that these two service members would still be dead if Donald Trump didn't win the 2024 presidential election? I know that there's a lot that we need to figure out about this. I know, but it appears to me, and I could be wrong, this is speculation, that this was a targeted attack from somebody who is extremely mentally ill going after ICE.
We know they weren't overseas, Brian. We do know that. They weren't in a foreign war. They weren't overseas. They weren't called to duty somewhere else to protect or fight another country.
I am not defending. I am not defending. In fact, it is despicable, and I hope this person is held to the highest extent of the law. And as I said, my thoughts go out to these two service members and their families. But with that being said, when you deploy our own troops against American civilians, sadly,
it's bound to escalate.
It's going to escalate. It has escalated. You're right. And you're going to have horrible circumstances like this. Make no mistake about it. These two service members are not going to be with their families for Thanksgiving because of one crazy lunatic who committed horrible crime, and Donald Trump.
And can I add something to that? It doesn't matter who the lunatic is. It doesn't matter what color they are or what they believe. What the point is, the political violent rhetoric needs to be tamped down. And that starts at the top, Brian. That starts with the leadership. That starts with the person who's on TV the most,
right,
who says the most comments to people. It doesn't matter who. It kind of matters because we like to assess what really happened, but that doesn't make a difference on the political violent rhetoric,
right,
like calling on congressmen to be hung and saying, well, in the old days, they hung them, and say, well, that's, they should be put to death. Is that not calling for political violence?
Absolutely.
For violent rhetoric?
And
Is
no,
it not?
It's a good point. And if not for this kind of rhetoric, I would say that maybe this doesn't happen. But I do think Donald Trump certainly plays a role in this sad, tragic event that took place today. Again, if you're just joining us, we are covering the breaking news, which is 2 service members were brutally attacked and executed in Washington, D.C. just about an hour ago, on my understanding.
They're saying the suspect's in critical, serious condition.
The suspect is as well. Okay. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Again, 702-221-SAVE. I do ask you guys this question. Am I wrong? I put partial blame on Donald Trump for the rhetoric and the hate speech. But I won't make the claim they killed these 2 service members like the right says about Charlie Kirk.
They.
I don't say they. No. I'll tell you the people who I think are responsible for this. Obviously, the person who is in custody right now who committed this heinous act, and Donald Trump, who has deployed our troops and weaponized what he has done to attack American civilians in cities across the country. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Scott. Scott is next on PTL. Hi, Scott.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everybody except Trump supporters. I want to teach you a little what the word subsidy means. If you give me $200 for health care in cash, or you give me a $200 tax credit, that's a subsidy. If you don't fix the health care, and guess where the money is going to go, dummy? It's going to go to the health care companies, you idiot, Donald Trump. I'm going to tell you where Trump is our most historic president. He's our first president that has an IQ under 70. I'm going to guarantee he's probably fatter than Taft was. And he's probably our first certified pig as a president. So he is very historic. He's our second clown. We had Bozo in the 80s. That was Reagan. He was a clown too. And it is what it is. I'm sorry, Leonard. I know you like to think this is not America. That's like when Trump said Mexicans were druggists and rapists and some were nice people. Well, Americans are some of the most ignorant people and some aren't.
No,
that's just
let me interrupt you, Scott, because I take America exactly like it is. And I'm proud to be an American. What I do on the show sometimes is, well, hold on a second, Scott, because what I do on the show is I point out the fact that we have men in camouflage with masks throwing Americans on the ground and arresting them and thrown into an unmarked van. And what I say isn't that un-American? That's un-American. I still love America. Right. I still live here. I'm not going anywhere, but there are things that they do. Which side is always doing the things that are, is it American to take away money from people so they don't have health care? Isn't that un-American? Is it un-American to tell women to do what they can do with their bodies? That's un-American. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that America should be great and I have this liberal view or even an extreme view. What I'm saying is what they're doing is un-American, and I want to point that out.
Well, in my opinion, it's exactly American. This holiday celebrates the fact that we murdered the natives. We took their food and then we murdered them. We gave them smallpox and blankets, and then we said, get on a reservation. Then we took black people and put them on a farm and picked cotton. Then after that, we told them you can't be integrated.
What does that have to do with Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving in my heart is I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my health.
Me too.
I'm thankful for my friends like Brian and
Me
Numchuck.
too.
What the hell does that have to do with what happened with the
Because
Indians?
that's the origin of this holiday.
No, it's not.
It isn't? Okay.
No.
Maybe I learned something different.
So the origin of the holiday is based on the fact that people were slaughtered? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's the fact that the natives were nice to us and gave us food, and then
we were
what we
thankful.
did in reciprocation was we did what we did.
Okay, well, let me
Not
tell you
because
something.
of that.
You're conflating history with people's actual view of Thanksgiving holiday. And I can tell you right now that everyone in my family and friends is thankful for what we have right here, right now. We're thankful that we live in America.
And I am too, but history is history for a reason. Trump acts like Hitler because how do we know that? Because he sounds like Hitler and he does what Hitler, except for putting Jews in an oven. He doesn't do that. But the rhetoric is similar. He even borrowed Ronald Reagan's slogan, "Make America Great Again." This is history repeating itself. But am I thankful? I'm very thankful for you, for Brian, for my life too. So,
well,
I'm not saying that that's not the American history. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is, I don't think that's what it means to most Americans. They don't think about the
It shouldn't
slaughter
be.
when they're sitting down to eat with their family.
Oh, no.
They're not thinking about it. I'm not disagreeing with the history, but to me, that has nothing to do with Thanksgiving.
Oh, well, okay. I respect that, but maybe we should think more about our history and we won't keep repeating it.
Well, I appreciate the call, my friend. Thank you. I have another update with these two service members, and this is why I don't always trust what people say on social media, because anybody on social media can put out a report that may or may not be true. And now we're learning that there are conflicting reports about these two service members on whether they are dead or not.
Correct.
I hope that they're not. I hope that report was wrong, and I hope it's not. But the governor has just put out a statement and said that there are conflicting reports. So we'll have to wait and see. And I know Numchuck is
the governor
monitoring.
is the one that said that they
Right.
were dead in the first place.
Well,
too.
yeah, and the governor's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I'm hoping that he got some bad
I
information.
hope he jumped the gun.
But
I hope they're still alive.
Yeah, the governor is putting out another statement saying that there's conflicting reports. I don't understand, if you're the governor, how you could have conflicting reports. Either they're alive or they're not. That is really unfair to the families. It's for the governor to put out a statement to say that they are both dead, and then 10 minutes later to say, "Oh, well, we're getting conflicting reports," is so irresponsible. You know, I would expect that from the MAGA right. I wouldn't expect that from the governor. So really not cool. And this is
Is
the
it
problem.
West Virginia? Is that where it's? Yeah, Governor of West Virginia.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. I hope that he got it wrong. I hope that these two service members are still alive. That would be wonderful. We'll have to continue to monitor it and find out. Again, number to call 702-221-7283 if you would like to be a part of the conversation. I believe next on the line we have Ava. If I'm not mistaken, Ava is next up on the line. Hi, Ava. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind? Ava?
Ava, you there?
702-221-7283 if you'd like to be a part of the program. Let's go to Jack. Jack is next up on PTL. What's up, Jack?
It's one more. Bleeping week for the year end. Bleeping ratings. It's going to be a big bleeping night.
Jack, are you a serious person or do you just prank call radio
Did you
shows?
eat mushrooms?
Do you have anything semi-intelligent, Jack, that you would like to say today?
Is this
I
Jack?
have
Rosen?
nothing else to bleeping do.
How many, Jack, be honest with me. How many radio shows do you call in and do this to?
Probably about a dozen.
Can you name me some of the shows you do this to? I'm just curious.
I think Mercedes in the morning. Steve
Jack,
Sanchez.
let me ask you something.
Wait, hold on. Let him name
ahead,
the
go
let
ahead.
him name the shows. This is very interesting.
Go ahead.
He bleeping calls into these shows and pranks these. Okay, so the second name you mentioned, he's probably happy you call in because he probably gets I think he gets like one phone call an hour. Who else? I'm curious. Who else do you call in?
With Steve Sanchez, I just wanted to say that half the time he goes to somebody, they're not there because they gave up because he takes an hour to get to them.
No, I don't think it's. I don't think it's that. I've heard rumors that he just doesn't get the calls and he's lying. But anyway, allegedly. But like, do you call any national shows and do this too? I'm curious. This is fascinating.
No, no, because if you call up, you can't get through because it's busy.
Why can't you call in to like Wayne Allen Root and say you're a bleeping moron? Like, can you do that for me? And then
You could be the one caller he gets in a month.
Okay, listen to me. I'm making a promise to you right now. Are you listening to me? It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge for you as a professional radio prankster, which it sounds like you are. What I want you to do is I want you to call into these other shows and say, I love Brian Shapiro. I listen to him every bleeping day. And then I will play your calls on the air. What do you think of that?
Okay. Yeah.
Can you
record it and send it by email.
Can you do that? Is that fair?
I could try calling this afternoon, seeing if I could get through.
And then what I want you to do is I want you to send me the call if you can, or email it to me, brianshapiro@kshp.com, and then we'll play them on the air. Okay?
Okay.
What do you think about that? Is that fair? I bet you no one's ever welcomed you with open arms like that. All the times you call into these other
You've been
shows.
given a task, a great task.
Yeah, I appreciate your work, and I would like to take advantage of it. What do you think about that?
Okay, if Wayne Allen Root's on this afternoon, he's not taking a vacation, I could try calling him up.
Good. You know, by the way, for those, I know you know who he is, but for those of you that don't, I call him Wayne Allen Kook. He's a Trump mushroom gobbler. And we got into a huge 30-minute debate on the air. And then hours later, the Review Journal fired him. And I heard it was partially because of me and my interview, because that guy is such a scumbag. But anyway, what is your real name? Are you willing to tell us your real first name or no?
No.
All right, fine.
No.
Well, I hope you have a great bleeping Thanksgiving. What do you think about that?
Happy bleeping Thanksgiving.
Oh, good.
All right.
You bleeping caller.
You see that? I can be very, you think I could be very endearing to, you see how that turned into a nice.
I was
pleasant
actually
conversation?
going to say the same thing you said. It's so odd. I was going to say, well, just say Brian Shapiro is the best show, and I bleep and love him.
Yeah, and then I'll play it on the air. Call into all these shows and see how a prank call could turn into something very nice. You see that?
We're nice to everybody.
Yeah,
Brian.
I'm such a nice person sometimes. 702-221-SAVE, 702-221-7283.
People are saying.
Paul is calling all the way from the UK. It's always great to hear from Paul. Paul, what's going on, man?
Hello, Brian. Hi, Leonard.
Hey, Paul, long time no hear.
Yeah, it's been a while. I only call in if I've got something to say. And sorry to harken back to Friday, Brian. We had a very long conversation on Friday. And unfortunately, you couldn't take calls. It went on for such a long time.
Yeah.
And there was one point I was dying to call on. So if you don't mind, I just want to rewind to that and talk about your guest. Now, forgive me, I can't remember his name, but he was challenging you on institutional racism, systemic racism, because you were talking about DEI and what DEI is for. And I was busting to call because systemic racism isn't the problem. Because in most democratic societies, you can't have systemic racism in as much you cannot have it written into the rule book. You know, even Donald Trump with his dad just put a C on applications meaning coloured. You didn't actually have a rule that said it. They had the little secret code. Now, the problem isn't systemic racism. The problem is that we are inherently racist. We have an inclination to be racist. I do, but I have my lower self, Paul, which has the racist bit, and I have my higher self, Paul, which talks down and says, Paul, it's not right to think like that. But we all have the inclination, because it's human nature to categorize people. For example, if I get mugged on the train, if I get mugged by a white guy, I got mugged. If I get mugged by a black guy, I got mugged by a black guy. It's just the natural way we are to take that minority trait as being the norm.
Can I ask you a question, Paul?
So yes, please do, Leonard.
Is there a difference between bias and racism? Because I disagree with you. I think racism is much worse than bias. We all have personal bias. We all have things we like and don't like, and that's a natural human condition. But I can tell you myself, I've never not liked a person because of the color of their skin or their national origin or their religion. So I would have to kindly disagree with you that racism is bias.
That's not what I'm saying, Leonard. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is if something happens to us, let's say that it's harm, we naturally try and justify it. It's a natural inclination to justify it by saying, if it's a person, this person is this type of person. It's a psychological defense mechanism. It's not right. But if, like you do, which I know you do, you have a higher self, you slap yourself on the wrist and say it's not right for me to even think in that way, which is the bit that makes people like you and I non-racist, only because we have the higher self. But our lower self is inclined to make that categorization. I don't think that's anything to do. That's not a distinction between bias and racism.
For the record, Paul, not to interrupt you, for the record, I believe there is systemic racism in America, and I have many examples, because there is not a level playing field in America. If you are a minority, if you're poor, if you're at this point, if you're Mexican or Hispanic, you're probably going to be taken into custody. And I think the racism is systemic because it affects the whole entire United States. So you're a very smart man, Paul, but I happen to disagree with that statement. I think systemic racism does exist.
Okay, but what all I'm saying then, I don't think we're saying that different. I'm saying systemic racism, the system is humankind. You can call it American.
Well, I'll give you an example. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. And sure. I think what you're talking about, because I think I agree with both of you. I'm not going to say who this person is, but it's a person that is very close to me. Having a conversation with them, and this person says, I was having a conversation with a black woman, but she was a very nice person. I stopped her and I said, what do you mean black person, but a nice person? Would you say I was having a conversation with a white person? And this person that I was talking to, I do not believe is racist, but it was like a weird statement to make. And I think that's what, there are certain people that make certain statements and they don't even realize really what they're saying. It's like a backhanded comment. Yeah. And when I hear statements like that, I try to pay attention as I get older. And there are blatantly racist people. And I'm telling you, the person who made this statement is not one of those people. And I stopped this person, and I think this person kind of understood what I was saying. And I kind of explained to them, hey, you can't talk like that. You can't talk like that. Why not just say a person? Why do you have to bring up the color of their skin? There are people in society that maybe are not inherently racist, but they say things without understanding really what they are saying.
And people are going to look at the implication of what you said, like you did. They're going to analyze it and say, hey, that was, what did you mean?
So this demonstrates my point. I'm not saying that people naturally want to go out and kill another race. It's not to the level of
some people do.
Yes, some people do. What I'm saying is you've all got that spread of it, that inclination towards it. It's an animal reaction.
I get it.
That is, to me, Paul, that's an undeveloped brain. That is an inexperienced person with very little life experience, and they don't realize that you can have friends and family. They could be all different colors, all different religions, all different cultures, and that some people in this world don't automatically assume that you're less than them just because you're not the same. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get your point. I'm not saying an extreme thing here. I'm saying it's a thread that you have to overcome. Yeah. That's all. Yeah. And most of us overcome it. I think most Americans are good people.
Yeah, I agree.
Unfortunately, the ones who are horrible, which they snort the loudest. That's the problem. They're the loudest pigs at the trough, sort of thing.
Yeah,
they're the ones
you powerful, Paul. It's a motivator. It gets people up in the morning. That hatred for some people.
That's true.
Oh yeah. It's a fuel. I just briefly, there's a video which everybody should watch, which I'm sure you guys have watched, which is the video of the guy who bashed in John Lewis's head at the Edmunettis Bridge, meeting with him 40 or 50 years later and asking for his forgiveness. And if it doesn't bring tears to your eyes, nothing will. Because that guy carried the weight of his guilt, what he did to John Lewis,
and that's
all his
what
life.
I'm saying, because the people who are racist seem unevolved or less evolved than others, and they don't open their mind, they don't open their feelings, they have no compassion, no empathy. And if you study religion, and even if you study mystic religion, when someone has empathy and compassionate and respects other people's right to have their own culture, that is usually a more evolved mind. That's all I'm saying.
And I agree with him. And again, on a personal level, I was brought up in middle class Jewishness in London, and low level, if you for want of a better word, racism was common amongst my adults, the uncles and aunts. It was common for them to say what we would call mildly racist. But even at the age of 7, because I remember, I knew it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. This isn't right.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that it's not a matter of everyone has a racist bone in them. I disagree with that. I think there's bias, there could be prejudice, and I can tell you that when I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and I had black friends and white friends and Puerto Rican friends, and when I was a kid and I was in grammar school, my friends were just my friends. Only when adults started pointing out the differences and the hatred, that's when I started to learn about racism. But when I was a kid, my friends were my friends. It didn't matter what color they were. That's what I'm saying. And no one taught me that. That's just the way I grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of us have a higher, I don't know what it is. We have a higher brain than other people, that's for sure. But even in the extreme example of this guy, this KKK guy who bashed in John Lewis's head, this rabid racist, he came back with tears in his eyes to apologize because he knew he was wrong. As he said, I'm going to hell.
Well, maybe that's why. He wanted absolution, and he knew that he's going to die one day, but, shouldn't have done it in the first place.
Yeah.
No, of course not. But what John Lewis said to him, he said, well, that was a long time ago. That's what he said.
Because you know why? Because he was evolved, and he was himself
Very
had
evolved.
Compassion and empathy, and he believed in what he was doing.
Paul, I want to say this, Paul, in closing. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. It's always good to hear
always
from
a
you.
good call with you, Paul.
And we appreciate
Great talking to you guys. Well,
Thanks,
we don't
Paul.
do Thanksgiving, we do Christmas, but thanks anyway.
Merry Christmas. All right, thanks. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. But have a happy Thanksgiving, all of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I did not know that people in the UK don't celebrate some sort of Thanksgiving. I must be
I didn't
stupid.
know. We assume
that
democratic
they did.
societies are just like us.
Yeah, I thought that they did. I learned something new today. 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Mike. I believe Mike is next up on PTL. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Good. What's on your mind?
I just want to speak to what Paul was just talking about.
Sure.
To me, the racism starts with the parents.
I agree.
Taught.
Agree.
It's taught, not learned.
Yep.
I mean, you just don't get born and be a bigot.
Can I just, first of all, I completely agree with you. Number
do
two,
I.
I'll use Donald Trump as an example. His father, Fred Trump, was arrested at a Klan rally. We all know what cloth Donald Trump came from, so I could not agree with you more. Now, I think there are maybe a few exceptions where maybe parents raise their children the right way, but maybe they're influenced and radicalized by others. You would agree with that, right?
Oh, yeah.
But as a whole, I agree with you. I think the type of people we are, in most cases, not all, are because of how we were raised. I was raised not to judge people on skin color or sexuality, unless you're orange, like Donald Trump. But
children don't know racism until they're taught.
When you hear the N-word as you're being raised as a child, then you think it's okay to use the N-word, right? And I think
exactly.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that parenting is so important on so many different levels. And when you have parents that are bigot racists that voted for Donald Trump, then chances are those kids are probably going to be bigot racists as well. And I feel sorry for them, really. But, yeah, you're right. I
That
agree
may
with
be
you.
the legacy of his family for as long as they're around.
Yeah.
Racism.
Yeah, my dad was like that. He didn't take, he didn't teach us to be bad to people, but he didn't like certain ethnic groups, and he let us know about it. And I taught my kids, as soon as they were old enough to know that this isn't right. They're human beings, and they passed that on to their kids. And I don't think there's a racist bone in either one of my grandson's bones.
Yeah, and credit to them. And I completely agree with you, sir. And I think the way you're raised helps shape who you are as a human being in most cases. And we all know who Donald Trump's parents are.
Happy
that's for
Thanksgiving,
sure.
Mike. Thanks for the
Yeah.
call.
Thank you for the call.
Hey,
my
y'all
friend.
too.
Yes, take care. So I don't know if these two service members have lost their lives or not. There's reports and unconfirmed reports, but I want to give you an example of a guest who's done this show before, who I'm not very fond of, to be honest with you. And then a guest who has done this show before, who I am fond of. So Ed Krasenstein from the Krasenstein Brothers has a very popular podcast. He and his brother, I think, are great. And Ed has done this show multiple times, and Ed reported from what the governor said, which was the Virginia governor confirming that 2 National Guardsmen were killed. Then he puts out a statement that says, well, unconfirmed reports, we don't know. But this was like 25 minutes ago. Carmine Sabia is a right-wing buffoon who has done this show multiple times, and he's just a complete imbecile. And he tweets right underneath it, "You caused this." Let me be very clear. This started with Donald Trump. I am not condoning, and I never would, any sort of political violence. This is horrible. And the person who did this, I hope gets the electric chair if we still have one. With that being said, to blame left-leaning social media influencers for a crazy lunatic who obviously had a lot of, I would assume, and again, this is an assumption.
The wires in his head were wired wrong.
We don't even know if the person who did this is a Democrat or a Republican. And Carmine Sabia puts out on social media, you call them Nazis, you say they are following illegal orders. I mean, it's so stupid. The whole right-wing talking points are just so gross. And then he names, people like Joe Walsh, who does this show, who's a friend of mine, Ed Krasenstein, and JoJo from Jurors. These are 3 people, by the way, who do this show quite frequently.
And they're all very smart.
And to say that they are responsible for one lunatic, it's the same thing. They say that they killed Charlie Kirk. No, they didn't. One person, as we know, is responsible for this. They didn't kill these 2. I knew they were going to do this, by the way. I knew that right.
Oh, it's going to next couple of days. That's going to be all they're going to talk about.
I said this 20 minutes ago. I said they're going to start using the term they. And now idiots like Carmine Sabia and other people on the right are saying, if you were going to deploy the National Guard, arm the National Guard. I mean, these people are such idiots, and there's bad people, sadly, that execute police officers.
Clicks and money. And
yeah, it just I'm so tired of it. I'm so
donations.
I'm so tired of these people who use the term they. I'm so sick and tired of it because one individual decided to commit a heinous act. We still don't know the motivation. We still don't know why. We still don't know anything about this person, and yet some right-wing turd on social media is going to blame the entire left for this. It's
they
so
endorse
stupid.
Political violence.
Yep.
Don't they? Doesn't Trump and his people endorse political violence constantly?
I would never call the person who did this a hostage and a patriot, but Donald Trump called those very people on January 6th. So
attacked and killed police officers.
Spare me your BS, man.
Can I bring one thing up before we go next caller? So some people in the room are saying that we should have known they didn't have Thanksgiving in the UK because it's an American holiday. But according to the internet, Canada, Liberia, Grenada, and St. Lucia, they all celebrate Thanksgiving.
I knew that Canada.
Also, the Philippines and Germany and Japan have similar celebrations. I guess the people in the room should have did some research.
I knew that people in Canada did celebrate Thanksgiving, and I assumed that the UK, and I bet you there still are some people in the UK that actually do celebrate it.
It was a pejorative comment. Yeah, it was disparaging.
We've got some incredible fact checkers in our YouTube super chat. 702-221-7283. Again, that number 702-221-SAVE. I certainly put responsibility on the person who committed this heinous act, but I would put more responsibility on Donald Trump when he's deploying troops to attack American civilians over anybody on the left. That's my.
When you're mentally
opinion.
ill and you want to kill someone, you have thoughts of murder, you can't blame the person for being triggered. They were going to do it anyway. If you know anything about psychology, that person was really twisted and probably a sociopath, and he was going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You can't say someone triggered him.
And we're still trying to get information on the health and an update on these 2 guardsmen. Obviously, we're hoping that they pull through this, but we do know our confirmed reports that they are both in critical condition. I've seen that everywhere. We just don't know
we're still
how they're
going to pray
doing
for them. We'll
at
pray
this
for
point.
them.
So we will have to,
okay.
we will have to continue to monitor that. 702-221-SAVE, 702-221-7283. Here we go from the right. The next 4 or 5 days, they killed these 2 airmen. They did this. It's their fault. Let's go to Carl. Carl is next up on PTL. Hi, Carl.
when happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Carl.
I like that holiday because I've been called a turkey many times by a lot of people on the right. So I feel that's my holiday. Anyway, you had a call earlier. You kind of discussion about the meaning of Thanksgiving and what started. Basically, it was the first settlers who came across, generally from England and whatever, and landed in the United States, and were the first ones. And the first Thanksgiving was the Indians. They were short. They had no money. They had no food. They had nothing to exist on. And the Indians, local Indians in the area, brought them food and all kinds of things, and they gave thanks for it. And that was actually the beginning.
Right. And no one's debating the history of it. It's just, I was talking about myself. I don't celebrate it by thinking of all the bad things and the murder that Americans did when they came here. And that's what the caller was talking about.
Yeah, as I'm having
spin.
Thanksgiving dinner with my family tomorrow, the last person I'll be thinking about is Cheeto Jesus. I'll be very clear on that.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But also you're talking about as far as racism. I've said it before, and I know a lot about psychological things in psychology.
Yeah.
And it's generally the family's background, how you're raised, what you hear from the day you're born till you're in your early teens.
Yep.
Your brain is generally settled at that point with what you've heard.
Yeah, but adults, not to interrupt you, Carl, but adults can make that choice for themselves when they grow up. They can decide that they hate people that have a different color skin or a different origin or a different culture or religion. That is something, a decision that adults make.
Yeah.
And they keep it in their heart. That's what I was talking about.
ABC is also reporting that these two service members, one is a woman and one is a man. That's what we're learning, and confirmed reports that they are both in critical condition. So we hope they make it through. I do want to read a message that I got from a listener all the way from Trinidad.
Oh,
can you believe that?
Excellent.
All the way from Trinidad. It's incredible. My listeners are all over the world. She says, Thanksgiving. First of all, she says, you are not stupid. I appreciate that. Some people would disagree with you.
Thanks for clarifying.
Thanksgiving is not an official public holiday in the UK, but it is celebrated by some communities, particularly American expats in cities like London. The UK's traditional equivalent is the Harvest Festival, which is celebrated in late September or early October to give thanks for the harvest. So the people, some of them in the YouTube chat that are giving us hell, eat that. Eat that.
Well, it's a good subject because we're bringing it out and we're giving our personal opinions, and we got some callers calling in and giving their opinion.
I'll eat turkey anywhere.
I will have a full house tomorrow. I cook the turkey. It'll take me all day to cook it. We have all the trimmings. We have all our family coming into town. My boys are flying in from Wisconsin and from New York, and we're all going to be here. And that's what Thanksgiving is about for me, to be with my family, and to feel the love.
And I hate to, the last 15 minutes of this show before Thanksgiving, I hate to bring this up, but it's a horrible story today, and I'm getting more upset by the minute when I see people on the right who have no idea who this individual is who committed this heinous crime. They have no idea what their political affiliation is. They have no clue. And not only are they blaming the left and finger pointing the left for this, let me be very clear on this. As I say before, and I say again, I said this when Charlie Kirk was shot. I said this when Steve Scalise was shot. I blame the person who pulls the trigger and commits the heinous crime. I also ask questions on how this person got a weapon. Those are questions that need to be asked. And motive. We don't know the motive. Unfortunately, police officers are shot at almost on a daily basis. And sadly, one is too many. Way too many police officers, Leonard, as you know. Their lives are taken. And there's all different motives for this. I don't know. All I'm simply saying is the political rhetoric and the violence in this country is partially Donald Trump's is partially responsible for this. I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. They will not lower the temperature. They will continue to blame the left for what took place.
Throw gas on the fire. That's exactly what
they tried to kill Charlie Kirk. They killed these two. And by the way, I hope these two service members pull through. I'm praying for them. You bastards that use the term they can go F yourself, because it's not they. They didn't try to kill Donald Trump, a 22-year-old registered Republican from a MAGA family. tried to kill Donald Trump. The second assassination attempt was from somebody who once voted for Donald Trump back in 2016. That had nothing to do with the left, and it wasn't they. Tyler Robinson was an unregistered voter. Okay? We don't know the true motivation as to why he did what he did. And we probably won't know until the courts share that. They didn't kill Charlie Kirk. They didn't try to kill Donald Trump. And they didn't shoot these two service members. The individual did. You don't know his political affiliation. You have no idea what his motive is. And yet you right-wing buffoons out there go on social media thinking that you know everything so that you try to get clicks. The Carmine Sabias of the world and you right-wing bastards out there that do this. I remember just a few months after I was out there in New Orleans, the terrorist attack, Leonard, in New Orleans, where you had too many people that lost their lives at the hands of one madman. And they said it was Joe Biden's fault. It was his open border policies. This was an illegal. Well, it turned out the guy, I think, was born in Texas. Did they ever apologize? Did they ever say, oops, I'm going to retract that? They're doing the same thing here.
Can we talk about what you start with? You have to start with someone who's a psychotic, right? We can assume he was psychotic because he murdered. You have to start with someone who is a sociopath. You have to start with someone who's either bipolar or a megalomaniac. You understand what I'm saying? Like you can't say that this guy was psychotic or a sociopath because he listened to Brian's show. You can't say something like that. If you have murder in your heart, if your mind has snapped and you now want to kill people, that is something that happened within your own mind. Was there influences? Were there triggers? There's triggers every day. Some people get triggered because of abortion and they get angry and they have hatred.
Yeah.
But you can't cause those kinds of murderous feelings in someone. No one can. And that's what's falling short, because people want to blame. You can analyze it. You can have an opinion, but no one can say what was really in that guy's mind. And
no, we don't know.
Obviously he was psychotic.
No, we don't know. Since I'm looking at the screen now and I've been squinting quite a bit, I've been told to wear my glasses the rest of the show. So I'm going to do something that's unprecedented. I won't be taking my hat off. Don't get crazy, people.
And on a Thanksgiving note, some people in the room asked how I cook my turkey. It takes me all day, 6.5 to 7 hours.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you because it's a secret, because the inside is nice and moist and yummy and the outside is crispy.
Yeah.
So, but I can't give the recipe away on the air.
We're also learning from CNN that this was a targeted attack and the suspect is not cooperating with law enforcement. Apparently what we're learning is he did fire the first shots from just a few feet. The suspect from just a few feet away, according to 3 law enforcement sources. And one source said the suspect then fired at the other guardsman who tried to get behind a bus stop shelter. The source said the suspect is not cooperating with investigators and had no identification on him at the time of the arrest, which I also do find somewhat interesting. Folks, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen here over the course of the next 4 to 5 days. They're going to blame the left. Now we have this imbecile Kash Patel who's doing a press conference.
I can only imagine what he's saying.
Yeah, Kash Patel, the imbecile who again said they had the right person in custody after the murder of Charlie Kirk. It's just so disgusting. It's just so disgusting.
He can't wait to get. Kash Patel is a director of the FBI, and he can't wait to get on the air and start giving that information. Do you know how many shootings I was on, Brian, as a police lieutenant? Do you know how many times the news showed up and people showed up? And you know what? We would spend hours or however long it took to find out what really happened before we put out a statement. This guy can't wait to get on the air. He can't wait to have a say. He can't wait to try to tell people. And how many times did he get it wrong? So far, he's gotten it wrong many times. Because he doesn't pay attention. He's just so excited about, and you know what? And they say the rumor is that Kash Patel may not last very much longer.
Oh, well, this will be very comforting to a lot of you that Jeanine Pirro is on her way to the scene. I'm sure she'll do a lot of help. The lush judge, another despicable, orange mushroom goblin.
A newscaster who got all kinds of power.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. Maybe Kristi Noem will show up in her ICE outfit. These idiots in the Trump administration who are just complete morons. Who are making this situation worse with their cosplay outfits showing up at the scene. Yeah, I'm sure the investigators and law enforcement really want Judge Jeanine there. I'm sure she's going to be very helpful. Stay away, you dumb bimbo. You dumb bimbo. Stay away, you lush.
They're not going to help the situation by going there. That's for sure.
No. And we are learning right now, confirmed by Kash Patel, Not that Kash Patel is the best source of information, but these 2 service members are currently in critical condition. That's what we know. Thank God they're fighting for their lives. Thank God. And I hope they obviously make it through it. Let's go to Darlene, the MAGA destroyer, next up on PTL. What's up, Darlene?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Leonard. Leonard, you know you're my little kitty favorite, Leonard. Anyway, guys, I'm going to behave today. And don't get used to it, because I will be back Monday, full MAGA. But today, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
My prayers go out to the people that got shot. And what I want to know from you two is, what are y'all going to do for Thanksgiving?
I think I've been talking about me for. They know what I'm doing. I'm going to be with my family, and they're all coming into town and friends, and we're cooking big giant meal, and we're going to say a big prayer right before we eat and thank God for everything we have.
Well, I invited George.
Amen.
I invited George Santos for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm going to be going on a date with him tonight. I'm just kidding. That was a funny joke. So there is a huge. Well, first and foremost, obviously, I'm going to be spending Thanksgiving tomorrow with some family and friends, with my parents and the family dog. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm a huge basketball fan, particularly college basketball. I grew up a Celtics fan. Like, arguably the biggest basketball tournament in the country all year is in Vegas the last couple days, and the semifinals and the finals today and tomorrow. So I'm going to be going to a lot of college basketball games, which I can't wait. That's going to be a lot of fun also. I'm looking forward to a 4-day weekend to kind of reset a little bit. We will be airing PTL live on Friday, but it's going to be a best of. So that's my plan. It's going to be a little R&R. I'm going to be chilling, having a good time. By the way, I thought of George Santos for a moment there, because I've been invited to his Christmas party in DC, which I will not be attending, by the way, but he did invite me to his Christmas party.
Did he claim that he was a chef and that he has certifications for cooking the best turkey ever? I mean, he can't tell the truth about anything. You might as well lie
That
about
wasn't
that.
on my bingo card, that George Santos would be texting me today, inviting me to one of his Christmas parties. That was not on my bingo
Did you really
card.
get an invite?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
But it's in DC. If it was here, I might just go just to like.
He likes you. He doesn't like just anybody, Brian.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a man.
You must have connected
That
with
might
him.
have something to do with it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, me and George Santos, we have a huge connection. Only if Lindsey Graham is invited.
And you're
will I
single?
go.
Are you single?
Yeah. I mean, you know, the sick part about this whole situation is, you know, there are some people on the far right that like me more than people on the far left. It's really incredible.
What's not to like?
It's really incredible. But in closing here, I really do hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. I mean that sincerely. I don't care whether you're a Trump supporter or not. I want everyone to spend time with your family. Life is really short. As sadly, we've learned that today once again. 2 service members in critical condition, 1 male, 1 female. Suspect was shot, transported to the hospital, not cooperating with police. There is no other suspect, only 1 suspect.
We pray that they live.
They're ruling out. Yeah. So, listen, there's a lot that's going to transpire with this story over the next 4 or 5 days. This sadly isn't the first time and won't be the last time that a brave man or woman in uniform, or somebody like yourself, a law enforcement, former law enforcement, unfortunately, one is too many, but these things happen way too often. We're going to continue to cover this story, but I implore all of you, stop blaming an entire side of the aisle.
Blame the guy who did it.
And Kash Patel just said they're working together because they believe it's a matter of national security, which obviously it is. He said, we will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we will find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice. Okay, fine. Well, yeah, I would hope so. I would hope that you would do that, Kash, if you're not on a plane on taxpayer dollars for a booty call with your country girlfriend.
Did Trump make a
yeah.
statement? Trump hasn't made a statement?
I don't know. I'm not aware of that. I am unaware of that. But obviously, this is tragic. And the day before Thanksgiving, we hope that they both.
It's really
pull through.
too bad.
Yeah, but you know what? I predicted this was going to happen. I predicted that more violence would occur, especially.
This could just be the beginning, Brian.
I don't disagree with you. I wish you were wrong. I predicted this, that we talked about this on the air before, you and I, that we predicted that there are going to be some really horrible things that happen. And yes, I'm sorry. I'm putting partial blame on Donald Trump. I'm not putting it on the Republican Party. I'm not blaming they or the right. I blame the person who committed this heinous crime. If Donald Trump wasn't reelected, I believe
He said people should be put to death.
Yes.
Did he not just say that?
Yeah.
Did he not say in the old days they used to hang them? Is that not reporting physical violence against people that
Yeah.
you disagree with?
Correct.
Because you disagree with what they said under
I
the
know,
First
it's-
Amendment?
I'm very disheartened and I'm sad. And again, all I can tell everybody is this is another example of life is very short. Enjoy your family and friends. I know I will tomorrow, and have a good time. Leonard, I hope you and your
Have a
family.
happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. I was going to say
Thanksgiving.
the
You
same
too,
to you.
Numchuck.
I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving to you and your family. And a reminder to all of you, this is an independently owned radio show. So if you want to support what we do, go to my website, pushingthelimits.live. We just passed 154,000 subscribers, so it's continuing to grow, which is great. This show is on Blue Pills 24/7. It's continuing to grow. So that
Let's
was
get to 200.
It's a Viagra joke. Everybody.
200 before the end of the year.
So yes, that would be great, by the way. Go to my website, pushingthelimits.live. You can make donations monthly or a one-time donation, $5, $10, $20. Whatever you do to support what we do, we really appreciate it. My email is brianshapiro@kshp.com. The website, as you see on the bottom of the screen, is pushingthelimits.live.
Happy Thanksgiving,
happy
everyone.
Thanksgiving, everybody. Love you all at PTL Nation, even my very special MAGA supporters. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. We will be back live on Monday. Remember, Andrew Wilson, 2-hour debate on Tuesday. You are not going to want to miss
Wow.
that. The douchebag that I attempted to debate on Piers Morgan. Yes, I just did call him that. So
He's
thank
going
you.
to be mad. He's going to bring that up.
No, I'm sure he will. So everybody have a great holiday out there, and everybody here at KSHP. We'll see you on Monday. The show will be playing on Friday, but we won't be live. We'll see you Monday, everybody. Have a great day.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery